for kids that's fun, so many good songs, and I've become that mom where I'm like sitting around with friends and I start singing like, Tyrannosaurus, that's the chorus, Tyrannosaurus. I was like, what am I singing? Oh my gosh, I'm singing Storybox. I'm singing Storybox. I am not singing Beyonce in that.
For my everyday casual looks, I'd go to TK Maxx, the discount store. I was particularly fond of their once-a-year sale when they'd be flush with items from Gap or J. Crew, items that had just come out of season or were slightly damaged. Bro, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I know. You know what it
Meghan and Harry are selfish, cruel pigs. But trust me, this is all part of Meghan's sinister plan to commercialize her children, to pimp them out for financial gain.
This woman must really, really hate what her kids or the kids really look like in order for her to inflict this pain on her child.
I would not be surprised if Meghan were putting wigs on her daughter, Lily. Maybe that explains why the hair just seems to be frazzled all the time.
My products are out today. That's how we pay our mortgage. So you're going to show up. You're going to show up whether you like it or not, because I'm now the breadwinner.
Then Meghan is clearly using her children as pawns in a broken relationship.
Look, they've seen them now. People have seen them now. We better just let it go because she wants it for money. She's desperate for money.
Having Doria, a former convict, and Marcos, a very shady uncle, who's, in my very humble opinion, Meghan Markle's pimp, is not enough. Children's Services, you need to get your act over there to Montecito soon.
Did she tell her stupid, hapless husband? Probably not. She knew what she was doing. The baseball people don't give a damn about Meghan's title, and so they just put her name up. Meghan Markle, not Meghan Sussex. And as the Office of CB pointed out, the Duchess won't be happy about that.
She's so desperate to portray herself as perfect that in her mind, perfection is completely white kids rather than embracing kids that are, you know, like biracial.
Because Meghan is a fraud, because the things that she tries to use to be warm and fuzzy are really cold and calculating.
It shows that Meghan Markle's kids are fake, or at least the ones that she's showing to the public.
But unfortunately, there was no way you could cut the fact that when they appeared on the cam to the audience, to the crowd, there were boos ringing out through the whole stadium. She's now going to say to her hapless husband, oh, H, they're already out there. They're already out there, H. So of course I've got to use them to sell my clothes, to sell my wine, to sell my makeup.
I think there's something neglectful about someone who always makes sure she's dressed in very expensive clothes. But then when you see the children, especially Lily, she always seems to be frazzled, in a disarray and not very well groomed.
It started with a picture that no one was supposed to see.
Deliberately and very carefully. She's cunning as can be.
A few seconds of footage, a quiet moment at a pumpkin patch.
Doing their own individual things, but not really showing themselves with a happy family together.
And for the first time in years, the world saw Lilibet's face. Not a silhouette, not the back of her head.
Their children living private lives in a gated enclave above the Pacific have become both the symbol of that boundary and increasingly its weak point.
But the real, unmistakable image of Meghan and Harry's daughter. At first, people thought it was sweet. Then they realized something wasn't right.
These are her real kids. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. She's just setting them up to be in forever therapy or to be bullied or both.
The video disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared.
The Sussex social media operation, usually cautious to the point of paranoia when it comes to images of the children, moved at lightning speed to delete the entire second half of the video.
One moment, it was trending across social media. The next, it was gone, deleted, erased, as if it had never existed. But the screenshots had already spread. Millions of eyes had already seen what Meghan had promised would stay private forever. That's when the questions started. Was it a mistake or was it deliberate?
I'm sure that she's done it deliberately and very carefully. She's cunning as can be.
Because Meghan Markle doesn't do anything by accident. Every frame, every smile, every sentence, in every interview. Carefully planned, polished, positioned. She has built her entire post-royal life around controlling her image.
Meghan Markle's sickness, narcissism, her mental health sickness is in full display. Because only somebody that's sick would do that to children that she claims are hers.
So why would she, of all people, break her own golden rule about privacy?
But if you genuinely wish to keep your children out of the public eye, why include them in any promotional material at all?
The same rule she used to fight the British press, to build her sympathy. To win the public over as a victim of invasion, why suddenly risk the very thing she swore to protect, her children's anonymity?
Meghan and Harry have made digital responsibility and child protection online one of their signature causes. They have denounced the toxic effects of social media on young minds and spoken movingly about the pressures it creates. Yet they remain active participants in the same ecosystem.
Maybe it was a slip. Maybe someone on her team made an error. But if it was, it's the most convenient mistake in recent memory.
One cynical publicist telling the royalists it's all a bit too convenient. The clip gets attention, the internet explodes, and suddenly Meghan's brand rollout is on everyone's radar.
Because that short clip went viral, the very week Meghan was gearing up to relaunch her lifestyle brand.
So Meghan doesn't miss a trick when it comes to, here's another way to commercialize the fact that I am not a member of the royal family, but I actually will keep telling people I am because I have titles and that's my only way of essentially having an income, right?
Mm-hmm. And whether she meant to or not, the leaked image did exactly what every publicist dreams of. It made people talk about her again. The reaction was instant and brutal. Supporters said it was tender, a rare glimpse into her private world. Critics called it exploitative, accusing her of using her children for attention.
Then Meghan is clearly using her children as pawns in a broken relationship.
And somewhere between those two extremes sat millions of ordinary viewers just wondering, why now? It's the contradiction that defines Meghan Markle's life.
Brand collaborations depend on maintaining visibility, even as their public rhetoric insists on distance.
She wants privacy, but she also wants an audience. She rejects the tabloids, but feeds them content. She hides her children until the timing suits her brand.
Their mum uses them when it suits her.
That's the paradox that keeps the cameras on her. Every time she fades, a mistake brings her back. And this one wasn't just any post, it was her daughter.
I just am starting to have serious questions about the wellness, the physical grooming and wellness of these children.
The image of a little girl who, until that day, had only existed in blurry birthday portraits and the back of Netflix scenes. Now her face was everywhere, her hair, her expression.
A lot of times, with Lily especially, she just looks very unkempt. Her hair always seems to be frazzled.
The tiniest details frozen in screenshots spreading across TikTok, Twitter, and royal forums. The palace must have seen it within minutes. The Sussex team moved fast. The clip vanished from every platform, but the internet never forgets. And what was meant to be a wholesome family moment turned into a full-scale debate about ethics, parenting, and manipulation.
I think it brings into question her motherhood.
Because people notice patterns. Every time Meghan faces a dip in public interest, something personal seems to leak.
This mistake could actually spell trouble for the Sussex brand, as cynics and conspiracy theorists will say the images were included on purpose.
A photo, a rumor, a reappearance. And somehow, those moments always align with her new business projects. Podcasts, series, product launches. This time was no different. The pumpkin patch video was released just days before a major announcement from her lifestyle brand, as ever.
Frankly, I can't get out of bed in the morning unless I know that Meghan has developed a new product or TV show.
Coincidence? Maybe. But the timing was too neat, the story too familiar.
Look, they've seen them now. People have seen them now. We better just let it go. Because she wants it for money. She's desperate for money.
The media cycle erupted, and suddenly Meghan's name was everywhere again. The outrage turned into free promotion. But this time, something felt off. Even fans who usually defended her hesitated. They'd seen the same pattern too many times. The tone of the conversation had shifted, from admiration to fatigue. People weren't calling her brave anymore. They were calling her predictable.
And then it all just fell apart and went to mush.
And in that silence, between deleting the post and ignoring the backlash, Meghan's image took another hit. Because when you say your children's privacy matters more than anything...
And she must really hate her kids in order to shame them like this, to the world, before the world.
But you keep showing them by accident, people stop believing your words. And yet, what really stirred the public wasn't just the photo, it was Harry.
Why does he keep putting himself in situations that visibly make him miserable?
In the video, he's there, but distant, standing off to the side, carving a pumpkin, wearing the kind of half smile that never reaches his eyes.
And then Harry in this video looks completely miserable. He doesn't have a smile on his face.
It's the look of a man somewhere else entirely, uncomfortable, tired, detached.
Oh, he's miserable, isn't he? He's totally miserable.
He barely interacts with the kids. He doesn't say a word.
There's zero interaction between Harry and the kids. You can see that the kids are running around like crazy, but Harry, far gone, doing his own pumpkin.
And when you look closely, the tension is obvious. It's not a father proudly filming his children. It's a man forced into a photo op he doesn't believe in. The clip raised more than questions about motherhood. It raised questions about marriage, about power, about who really controls the Sussex brand.
It looks like Meghan is doing these social media posts with the children just to make Harry upset, just to make him feel like, okay, you don't have no control. I'm going to do what I want to do.
And for the first time, even Meghan's supporters started whispering what critics had said for years. Maybe this isn't a partnership anymore. Maybe it's a production. When Meghan pulled that video down, she didn't post an explanation.
My products are out today. That's how we pay our mortgage, so you're going to show up. You're going to show up whether you like it or not, because I'm now the breadwinner.
No apology, no oops, just silence.
The body language between Harry and Meghan is horrible. Meghan Markle is no longer clinging to Harry's arm like she's a monkey.
And silence, when it comes from her, is never random. It's a strategy, the same one she's used for years.
But a lot of people were not happy about this. They were blasted by LA Dodgers fans as they got a royal treatment, as local legends were demoted so they could make room to give them this like front row seat.
Control the narrative by never confirming or denying anything. Because when you don't explain, people fill in the blanks for you. And that means you still own the conversation. It's classic crisis management. The outrage becomes free publicity.
She's only doing this because she's on the coattails of the royal family, right?
A deleted family video suddenly trends, and everyone who hadn't heard about her new brand now has. Even her critics are doing the marketing for her. That's Meghan's genius and her curse.
She's as ruthless as you could be.
She knows how to spark attention, but not how to keep respect. Because each time she blurs the line between private and public, the trust breaks a little more. This latest episode felt like deja vu.
He's so annoyed. He's like, can we stop doing this? It's actually like for a moment I was like, oh, he's being kind of cute. And then he asked me, like, can we get on to the serious topics of why I'm here?
Right before her Spotify deal collapsed, she'd appeared with Harry in a warm couples interview. Smiles, laughter, perfect lighting. Weeks later, the news dropped, and everyone realized the interview had been a distraction. Now, it felt like the same playbook, a cozy family moment before another major announcement. But this time, the cost was higher, because she didn't just risk her image, she risked Harry's.
Why do you allow her to put yourself in this position when we can all tell, just like in New York the other day, the smile at times might be plastered on when he thinks he's on camera, but his absolute despondency shines through.
He's there in that pumpkin patch video, carving a pumpkin like it's part of the script. You can almost feel the tension through the screen. His body stiff, his face tight, like someone who knows the camera's watching but wishes it wasn't. It's the kind of moment that says more in silence than in words. He left the royal family to protect his wife and children from the media.
You can see him a little uncomfortable. He's being a little bit nicer than usual, but also still a little perturbed. But also someone's taking the piss out of him, which I do enjoy when that happens.
Now, years later, he's part of the same machinery, only this time it's homemade.
I think he just doesn't have the courage to really tell Meghan how he feels. I think he is in a position that he doesn't feel like he has any power. He feels as if his life is out of control.
No tabloids, no palace photographers, just Meghan's team, the ones who decide when, where, and how their private life gets released. And if you've seen Harry lately, you know he's not the same man who once called the press the enemy.
He has no courage. He's not really truly a man in the sense of putting his foot down and saying what it is that he wants for his life.
He looks worn down, more like someone trying to keep peace than to make statements. Maybe he's realized that you can leave the palace, but you can't leave the performance. When he finally did step in front of a microphone again, hoping to show a different side of himself.
I mean, gutsy, I guess, to show up to this thing in the first place, I gotta say.
It backfired in a way no one saw coming. That moment came just a few days later.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle booed at the baseball, and the delusional Duke has a face like thunder as he increasingly questions the choices he's making in life.
When he appeared on comedian Hasan Minhaj's YouTube channel, it was supposed to be lighthearted, a friendly chat, some laughs, a little cultural exchange between a prince and an American comic. Instead, it turned into one of the most awkward interviews of Harry's life. From the first minute, you could tell he wasn't ready for it.
You could just see he's nervous too, but he's like, okay, let's try.
Hasan asked, "How American are you?" Harry tried to joke, said he doesn't drink Coors Light, doesn't wear shorts in restaurants. But the timing was off. The audience laughed at him, not with him. Then came the accent test.
They are legitimately
No,
laughing
but by the way, the laughter, it's encouraging. Is it encouraging or is it mocking me?
Do an American accent, Hasan pushed. Harry stumbled, nervously repeating, "I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing at Applebee's." The crowd burst out laughing. Even Hasan teased him, correcting his pronunciation. Harry smiled, but it was the forced kind. The kind you give when you're pretending you don't feel embarrassed. People watching could sense it. The power dynamic had flipped. For years, Harry had been the one giving serious interviews, the one framing his story. Now he was the punchline in someone else's. And the internet noticed. Clips from the show spread fast. Millions of views in hours.
It's pretty amazing how much he just got mocked.
People said he looked lost, awkward, unsure. Some even called it the most human Harry's ever looked, while others said he's not a royal anymore, he's content.
The baseball people don't give a damn about Meghan's title, and so they just put her name up. Meghan Markle, not Meghan Sussex. And as the Office of CB pointed out, the Duchess won't be happy about that.
Then came the question that changed the tone completely. "What do your kids think you do?" Hasan asked.
And look at Harry's kind of taken aback.
That's a good question. What do they think that I do?
What do they think Dad does?
Harry froze. You could see him trying to find words. Finally, he muttered, "They know we help other people, but when I go to work, they think I just talk on calls." It was honest and sad, because in that one sentence, you could hear what he's lost. Direction, clarity, maybe even identity.
Fascinating question. And did you notice Harry couldn't answer it?
He didn't talk about royal duty, charity, or causes. He talked about phone calls, and you could see it in his face. He's not sure what he does anymore. For a man who once lived by mission and duty, that's devastating. And the irony?
And it kind of makes him likable, but I also feel like it is mocking him. It absolutely is mocking him at times.
It came the same week Meghan was accused of exploiting their daughter for attention.
This woman must really, really hate what her kids or the kids really look like in order for her to inflict this pain on her child.
Two moments, one message. The Sussex brand is spinning out. Meghan's overexposed. Harry's underwhelmed.
And now Harry catches himself. He'll do that. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to, because Hasan kind of calls him out. And he's like, no, of course, we don't have to be serious.
And together, they're becoming something they swore they'd never be, a public spectacle.
Meghan and Harry are selfish, cruel pigs.
In just a few days, both of them had been exposed. Not by tabloids, but by themselves. Meghan through the photo she posted and deleted. Harry through an interview meant to humanize him, that instead made him a meme. The couple that once controlled every image, every narrative, every headline.
No, it's become more confusing. It's become way more confusing.
Okay.
Suddenly looked vulnerable, unpolished, and a little lost. And maybe that's why this moment hit harder than all the scandals before. Because for the first time, the mask slipped on both sides. It's strange how things connect.
And the more you try, the more you're going to fail. And I think Harry sees it. He's like, okay, what you doing now, honey? Because look, he knows it's just not going to work out.
One moment, Meghan's deleting a video and pretending nothing happened. The next, Harry's being laughed at by a crowd of Americans who used to idolize him. Two separate events, but together they paint the same picture. A couple who can't find the balance between privacy and relevance. For years, Meghan and Harry built their brand around a simple promise. We're different now.
Meghan Markle is a polarizing character. If you're my friend, you're gonna say, oh, she's misunderstood. You just don't know her like I do. You don't go like, She's polarizing.
We've escaped the palace, we're free, but freedom doesn't pay the bills. And when your fame is your business, silence is dangerous. You can't disappear. You have to feed the machine. That's why everything they do now feels calculated.
Because Meghan is a fraud, because the things that she tries to use to be warm and fuzzy are really cold and calculating.
Every leak, every appearance, every public moment dressed up as private. It's all carefully timed, designed to keep their story alive, to make sure the world still talks about them. It's all carefully timed, designed to keep their story alive, to make sure the world still talks about them. Because the more they chase attention, the more their image falls apart. Harry, once seen as the rebellious prince, now looks like a man without a map.
It's insane, isn't it? And Harry clearly has absolutely no connection to these children.
Meghan, once seen as a symbol of empowerment, now looks like a brand manager running out of tricks.
She wouldn't be doing this line of work. If she'd stopped acting when she finished in Suits, she wouldn't be flogging, as we would say, flogging wine and candles.
And the irony, they wanted to control their story, but now the story controls them. Every time Meghan posts something, people dissect it frame by frame. Every time Harry speaks, the internet turns it into a meme.
Queer lips of truth, saying they also took their bad luck there and caused the LA Dodgers to lose the game. Whoopsie.
It's no longer admiration, it's analysis. The mystery is gone, and what's left feels overexposed and underwhelming. Even their fans feel it. Scroll through the comments and you'll see the tone change. Not anger, but disappointment. People expected something deeper, something honest. Instead, they got another version of Hollywood PR disguised as authenticity.
She's not a very good actor, but she's good enough to hide her feelings, to mask her feelings,
Yes.
you know, to cry on demand.
And maybe that's the biggest tragedy of all, that the couple who wanted to rewrite the royal narrative have become the thing they once escaped. Performers trapped by their own image. Look closely, and you can see the imbalance between them.
Oof. They sure as hell love Uncle Marcus more than they love Papa Prince.
Meghan is still in full control, smiling, planning, curating. Harry looks like he's just trying to survive the noise. In that Hasan Minhaj interview, you can see it in his body language. Shoulders slightly hunched, smile too practiced. He's not relaxed. He's enduring it, and it's painful to watch.
Who are you? Why do you deserve this? It just, to me, it looks like they just don't know how to put themselves in a position that would make anybody want to have sympathy for them.
Because no matter what people think of him, Harry's not a villain. He's a man who thought he could protect his family by leaving the monarchy, and now finds himself caught in a new version of the same cage. The cameras haven't stopped flashing. They've just changed sides. Even the American press, once his safe space, has started to turn. They're not covering him with admiration anymore. They're covering him with irony. Comedians joke about him. Talk shows roll their eyes. He's not the brave prince anymore. He's the guy who says Applebee's like it's Buckingham Palace.
It's the entitlement, and why would you even want to be in these seats? It's just, calling more attention to yourself.
That's what makes the Hasan Minhaj moment so symbolic. It wasn't just a bad interview, it was a mirror. For the first time, Harry saw what he's become in the eyes of the public. A man people don't take seriously anymore. And that kind of humiliation cuts deeper than any tabloid headline.
But unfortunately, there was no way you could cut the fact that when they appeared on the cam, to the audience, to the crowd, there were boos ringing out through the whole stadium.
Meanwhile, Meghan's reaction to all this has been to double down.
Second candle, this is the one that I'm annoyed about though, in the collection, number 519, is inspired by the Duchess's wedding day to Prince Harry on May the 19th. The description reads, modern and elegant, love at first light. No 519 is the feel. Number 519 is the feeling of warm sunshine and blue skies surrounded by love and laughter.
She stays visible, stays curated, keeps the lifestyle posts coming. Because that's her armor, the illusion of control. If she keeps posting, she stays relevant. If she stays relevant, she stays powerful. But even that power is fading. Her projects aren't landing the same way they used to. Her podcast is gone, her Netflix presence is quiet, her endorsements are cooling off. And when the spotlight dims, she reaches for the one thing guaranteed to bring it back, her family.
It shows that Meghan Markle's kids are fake, or at least the ones that she's showing to the public.
That's what makes the Lilibet video so important. It wasn't just a photo leak, it was a signal.
Now I know, they're wigs. They are wigs. Why is this crazy woman putting wigs on kids?
A sign that Meghan knows her name alone isn't enough anymore. She needs the emotional hook, the motherhood, the family, the candid moment. It's the same formula that used to work for her. But now, instead of admiration, it's breeding skepticism. Because people can tell when something's real.
Is she so desperate to portray herself as perfect that in her mind, perfection is completely white kids rather than embracing kids that are, like biracial?
And this doesn't feel real anymore. You can delete a video, but you can't delete intention. And everyone watching sensed it. That quiet, polished, perfect accident wasn't an accident at all. It was marketing. It was control disguised as vulnerability. And the saddest part, it didn't even work. Instead of humanizing her, it exposed her. Instead of helping her brand, it reminded people how manufactured her image has become. And once the illusion breaks, it's almost impossible to rebuild. That's what this week showed. Not just for Meghan, but for Harry too. They've both reached a point where their public story no longer matches the reality they're living. He wants normalcy. She wants influence. He's tired of cameras. She can't live without them. And that difference is starting to show.
If she were the mother of those kids, unless she's absolutely a monster for a mother, where her narcissism takes over and her kids are in complete danger.
Every glance, every pause, every awkward silence between them on camera. It tells the story louder than any headline could. They say fame changes people, but for Meghan and Harry, it didn't just change them, it trapped them. And no matter how far they run from the palace, the one thing they can't escape is the need to be seen. When you put all the pieces together, the deleted video.
Later in life, these kids who, let's be honest, have had the weirdest childhood, like they're being brought up as if they're Michael Jackson's children, are gonna think, holy crap.
The awkward interview, the silence that followed, it's clear something has shifted. The fairy tale that started with rebellion has turned into repetition.
The way that this has all been executed is so poor.
And for the first time, the world isn't cheering, it's watching in disbelief. Because this isn't the Meghan and Harry people once rooted for. This isn't the couple who stood up to the palace, spoke truth to power, and claimed they were breaking free. This is something else now, a performance that's lost its plot. The same people who once defended them are asking different questions now. If they wanted peace, why keep chasing headlines? If they wanted privacy, why keep feeding the media? If they wanted to protect their children, why use them as part of the show?
Children's Services, you need to get your act over there to Montecito soon.
And those questions don't come from hate, they come from fatigue. People are tired of contradictions.
So the idea that this was all steeped in racism against her is absolute nonsense, as we all know.
They're tired of seeing one version of Meghan in interviews and another in her actions. They're tired of Harry trying to sound grounded while looking miserable. The truth is, the Sussex brand isn't about authenticity anymore. It's about survival.
Meghan and Harry are selfish, cruel pigs.
They're no longer fighting for freedom, they're fighting for attention. And attention, once lost, is hard to earn back. Even their allies in Hollywood are beginning to drift. The invitations are fewer, the deals slower, the smiles colder. Because in that world, relevance is a currency, and it's running out.
48-pound candles in the scent of her family home. Honey, pots of honey costing $63 for two.
When Meghan first stepped onto the world stage, she had something powerful, mystery. She was the outsider, the woman who challenged the crown, the voice that made history tremble. But mystery fades fast when everything you do becomes a headline. Now, there's nothing left to reveal, only to repeat. And Harry, he's become the echo of that story. Once his name meant rebellion, courage, independence. Now, it means confusion. He's the man who traded duty for exposure and ended up with neither. That's the tragedy behind the laughter in that Hasan Minhaj interview.
They got the best seats in the house for the World Series baseball game, which meant that some legends like Magic Johnson and Sandy Koufax were actually relegated to the second row.
People didn't laugh because it was funny. They laughed because it was uncomfortable. Because somewhere deep down, everyone saw it, that flicker in his face. That hint of realization that he's become what he feared most, a spectacle. You can see it in his answers too. When he talks about his kids not knowing what he does, it's not a joke, it's the truth. Because how do you explain to your children that your job is being famous for leaving something you couldn't escape? The irony is haunting. They left the royal family to live freely, to raise their children away from the cameras. But now the cameras are closer than ever, and this time, they're the ones inviting them in. That's what makes the Lilibet photo moment so symbolic.
Meghan had a hysterectomy and couldn't have children. And that was a big issue in their relationship. So that says a lot to the fake royal kids right now.
It's not just about a picture. It's about everything that picture represents. The loss of privacy, the hunger for relevance, the illusion of control. Meghan may have thought she was reminding the world of her happy family, but what she really reminded everyone of is how far they've drifted from what they claimed to be. Because when you strip away the speeches, the interviews, the documentaries, what's left is two people trying to sell a version of themselves that no longer exists. One holding onto the image, the other holding onto patience. And the space between them grows wider every time another accident happens.
Having Doria, a former convict, and Marcos, a very shady uncle, who's, in my very humble opinion, Meghan Markle's pimp, is not enough.
People see it now. They see it in his eyes and hear it in her words. They see it in the way he looks down when she speaks for both of them. They see it in the tension behind the smiles at public events. And no PR statement can fix that. Because the truth isn't in their posts or their interviews. It's in the moments they don't plan. The look of discomfort, the quiet silence after laughter, the pause before an answer. That's where the real story lives now. And maybe that's what this latest controversy exposed. Not Meghan's intentions, not Harry's awkwardness, but the reality behind the performance. A family struggling to find meaning in a world that doesn't take them seriously anymore. A couple fighting to stay relevant while pretending they don't care.
Road, imagine going to a baseball game and not bringing your kids.
And a brand that keeps talking about authenticity while losing all of it, one post at a time. So when people ask if the Lilibet photo was an accident, the answer might not matter anymore. Because whether it was a slip or a stunt, it did something neither of them expected. It made the world stop seeing them as victims. Now they look like players. And once people start seeing you as players in your own drama, the sympathy ends. It's not hate anymore, it's indifference. And in Hollywood, indifference is the kiss of death.
Is this some kind of neglect? Because to me, it just looks like you are so afraid or so pretentious in your children.
Still, maybe there's a lesson buried in all this. Fame doesn't heal. Attention doesn't equal respect. And control, the thing they've both chased for years, has a price that always comes due. Because when you spend your life curating perfection, the smallest crack becomes a headline. And that pumpkin patch video, that was the crack.
And she's wearing a diaper? Because in this picture, she's wearing a diaper. She's a 4-year-old, almost 4.5, wearing a diaper? Is there something wrong with this child?
The moment the curtain fell and everyone saw the truth behind the brand. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But this one, the one Meghan never meant to share, might be worth her entire reputation. And as for Harry, maybe he's finally realizing what the rest of the world already knows. You can't run from the spotlight when you keep turning it back on.
Who are you? Why do you deserve this? It just, to me, it looks like they just don't know how to put themselves in a position that would make anybody want to have sympathy for them.
So whether it was a mistake, a strategy, or something in between, one thing's for sure. That photo did more than show the world Lilibet's face. It exposed everything they've been trying to hide.